artist has caused quite a stir after painting the words "I love you" on the roof of a very prominent Tyneside building.
For years, the word carpets graced the roof of the carpet store at the bottom of Byker Bank in Newcastle.
Over the Christmas holiday, someone painstakingly removed the logo to leave their message of love. Leslie McNish has been trying to find out who this daring Romeo is.
Forget Shakespeare's sonnets and soppy love songs. The roof of a carpet store at Byker in Newcastle has become the latest romantic hotspot.
The Byker Romeo, the love-struck graffiti artist who painted the words "I love you" on a roof in Newcastle. But we can now reveal his identity, or should we say their identity. If you were hoping the message was from your beloved, you're going to be disappointed.
This was the message that left everyone wondering who it was from.
The Byker Romeo, the love-struck graffiti artist who painted the words "I love you" on a roof in Newcastle.
Thought the message was left sometime over the Christmas holiday.
Since then, this declaration of love has been amusing and mystifying passing motorists and passengers on the metro train. They both have the best view of it from up here. But now what everybody wants to know is, who is this mysterious, daring Romeo? Who was the message intended for, and did it work?
Romeo is in fact a group of 30 artists. Spread love to everyone.
This is an interview for peep-Magazine. We're joined with a very special, elusive Byker Romeo. I don't know if he's called himself that, but we're going to find out. Cheers for coming down and cheers for meeting us, and let's get into it.
Programmed in a positive way, so that the individual will be completely altered.
You may have seen his work on the Clooney, Dallas Carpets, the Spillers Wharf, the Metro Viaducts, symbolised by either love heart or I love you, or the word hope, or the word unity. I'm getting a bit of a picture to what this guy is all about. So, Byker Romeo, cheers for being here, man.
Hi, how are you, mate? Thanks for having us.
Did you invent the name Byker Romeo, or was that a name given by the media?
Yeah, it was one of those catchy Chronicle headlines, wasn't it? So I was pretty sure it was a Chronicle journalist. Obviously, didn't take the time to write down their name, but I think they were the one that came up with it. Or it was BBC, Time Tees, I'm not sure. It could have been, North East, BBC, I think the Chronicle hit first. I think the Chronicle article hit first. It was probably that journalist, yeah. The Byker Romeo. So yeah, I never came up with that. It was them.
Everyone's seen the, the I love you on the Dallas Carpets roof. But was that you, just you going up there, or was it a team of your friends or other writers?
It was just me, and there was like morning dew. So actually, I might as well just tell the whole story. It was kind of like, wasn't just as simple as going up there. So I turned up with a backpack of paint, and there was a whole bunch of Raggies down on the corner of Dallas Carpets, and they were like running out. They were like running away. I walked past them, and they were running, and then a police car came past, and I think the police car was looking for them. So I saw the police car and ducked down behind this this block of wood or like a pile of rubbish or something, and the police car actually pulled over like at the gardens behind Dallas, where the entrance to the Victoria Tunnel is, and they were shining a light through these bushes. So I was like almost caught with a bag full of paint about to do it. The police car fucked off. Then I climbed up a tree and jumped onto the roof. That tree's now gone. If you're trying to do the same, you can't get up there without a ladder anymore. Went up onto the roof, but I kept on falling over because there was like morning dew, like 2, 3, 4 a.m. or something, and there was like condensation on the roof, and so I had to take my shoes off. So I did it, and it was freezing. The roof was cold. It was like December, I think. So I did it barefoot on the roof, and there was still pigs driving past, but they obviously weren't looking up at that point. So there probably about 4 or 5 pig cars drove past after that. I was just looking down at them. They weren't looking up, obviously. And then done and dusted. Put the cans in the bin of the Clooney and buggered off.
D-A-D-S. You can control the fire of your emotions. The balance of emotion is important to a well-rounded.
So why? I'm interested to know why the symbolised love heart. Why that love heart?
Initially, it was like to sort of make amends for like sleeping with someone when I just started a relationship, and she'd went to Thailand, and then I was at a festival while she was at Thailand. Like we'd been together about a week or something. She went to Thailand, and then I went down to this festival, and this girl didn't have a tent. This hot girl didn't have a tent, so she slept in my tent. And then I woke up in the morning with come down cock, like fucking raging hard on, and I was like starting to think of how to get rid of it without cheating on this lass or whatever. I mean, I was like, have a wank in a portal. It was just fucking rotten. And then as I was thinking like this, the girl just woke up, looked over her shoulder, and pulled her pants down. So fucking, Anyway, did what anyone would do, and but yeah, like a while later into the relationship that just kind of started the week before, she found out, and yeah, she was trying to get rid of me, and I was trying to find some way to make amends and prove to her that like that was just a one event at the very start of our relationship, and it was a few months later, and I had fallen in love with her by this point, so I was trying to prove that like that was how I felt, and so yeah, I did that rooftop and just rang her up on Christmas Day morning or something. It was like, when you walk into your mum's for Christmas, just make sure you walk across Byker Bridge. And then she did, and yeah, she said her heart stopped or whatever. She was like, oh my god. And then it was like day after Boxing Day or something when the news articles ran, and it all kind of blew out of proportion. So the answer to why the hearts, that's why the initial I love you, but consistently going on from there with a few other big stunts and now tagging. It's literally just because it makes people smile. I've seen it has a positive effect, and we live in a world of like fucking negativity and hate, and it's just nice to have things out there, especially in this wasted grey space we've got everywhere, that makes people smile.
I'm frightening. When I have my power, I am frightening. I frighten you with my power. DJ.
Well, man, what a story. Absolutely brilliant. Do you have a background in music and travelling? And I'm just interested, what kind of music are you interested in or involved with? And what kind of travelling?
So yeah, musically, I think I watched the film, what was it called again? Scratch. So I watched the film Scratch as a teenager and was like, right, I'm getting decks, I'm going to do music, I'm going to be a hip-hop turntablist. Like, bang, I was like, obsessed. Got decks, learned beat juggling and all that. Started DJing for a local hip-hop group, then started making beats and that, but I was never very musically gifted with the production, so I didn't really go too far down the production route. And then moved on eventually to rapping, so there's the rap music out there as well, but like can't give too much of the game away with that. And as far as the travelling's concerned, it's just so that same girl, actually, that's actually what Byker Romeo was actually involved in the kickstarting of the travelling. So that same girl, when she was furious with me for finding out that I'd slept with this other girl at the start of our relationship, she was trying to like run away from England, and she was like, I'm going travelling by myself, I'm going to Thailand, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then she chose another country where you could get a work visa, and so she was heading to that country, and she was going to go without me, but we kind of made amends and I ended up going with her. And then it was a bit, the first few months in this place were a little bit complicated, travelling together. It was really intense being with someone. But she had to leave the country, and she actually came home for like a family emergency and never came back. And we did eventually break up. But what I discovered then was like solo travelling, where you just work, you go from town to town, you do what you want. It's crazy. It's so different to living in one city. It's just, I want to change city, I want to change job, I want to go pick apples in that town. Like, you sort of just following your feet. And I fell in love with it, so spent a lot of the rest of my life doing more work and travel if possible. So like the answer to where is just basically anywhere you could work or travel. And like fund the movement, because I'm not like rich to just go and stay in some random country and live there. So I was always working and moving, and it was met tons of different people, saw loads of different cultures, etc., and saw like the difference in people around the world, but also the similarities in people, because we're all the same at the end of the day in many ways as well.
I get the impression you're kind of anti-establishment, anti-authority, anarchy, etc. Did you used to protest, and where does this anti-authority actually come from?
Well, anarchy is the only thing authority has ever really taught me. Like, it's a backlash from being told what to do by people that have got no right to. So it's not like I, one day opened up the book like hating authority for beginners, and it's like literally authority made me hate it. Being harassed by police as a kid, being locked up for stupid shit. There's school teachers treating you like shit, and then when you talk back, like you're in trouble for defending yourself. So it's like school tries to make it clear that it's the authority is a one-way street, and you can't answer back, and you can't stick up for yourself against authority. And it's so it all just comes from a natural backlash to having this bullshit authority, be it police, the school, the state, telling you what to do and how to do it, and punishing you if you don't. And yeah, I did used to protest. I just got into like anti-Iraq war protests at the age of 13. I think that was really good grassroots movement. Like it was the biggest protest in history. There was like 2 million people in the streets of London, this huge snake that ran through the whole of London. But more recently, it starts to seem that like protesting can be a bit of a puppet show, and you're actually playing into the hands of the psyops, and like there's just so many fucking psyops everywhere right now that I kind of just keep myself to myself and try and avoid being swept up in any of these rabbit holes, because loads of them are distractions. Like you could get obsessed with QAnon and be like, yeah, Trump won the election, blah, blah, blah. And just this weekend apparently there was someone that was QAnon crazy, killed his family, but that could be a false flag and a psyop. It's just like everything's so fucking confusing these days. It's best just to stick to what you actually know and keep your circle small. And don't obsess with all these huge political movements. It's culture wars. It's all there to divide us and stop us actually taking down the establishment and taking down the authority. They want to split you up. They want women to hate men. They want men to hate women. They want half the feminists to hate the other half of the feminists because they don't think trans women are women, etc. They want to divide every single group to keep us from tearing down the banks and the banking system. And that's what I mean by puppet show. Is there's for example, Putin's right-hand man was an ex-avant-garde theatre director, and he was then hired as like the Minister of Propaganda. And if people don't know what the hell's going on, like in avant-garde theatre, it's a lot easier to control. So that's one of the reasons they're splintered. They splinter society, but they don't just splinter it, they fund it. So Putin's right-hand man was funding like the fascist groups and the anti-fascist groups, and like etc., like pitting people against each other, because as long as they're against each other, they're not against the establishment.
You know who I am. There it is. See? That's right.
Yeah, man. Cool.
So I left school for college because school, again, hated the authority, and college seemed to have more of an opportunity to be doing practical things about all the paperwork and studying, and the teachers treat you more like an adult than a slave. So college was good, but it was in like the year after college when I got my first house and was just basically partying and like fucking selling drugs and that, and just like living the life. So it was after school and college, but funnily enough, I actually came up with the idea in year 6. So I was first introduced to graffiti in year 6 by like a chava in my year, and we used to, just like simple marker pens going right on bricks and play parks and stuff, and it was like proper kiddie graffiti. It's quite nostalgic thinking about it, actually. I remember I once covered a play park in Fenham with graffiti, and my mum just knew straight away because it was just down the road. It was with a green pen from the house, and it was like I'd drawn on absolutely everything, and she just knew it was me. Yeah, but anyway, so the idea, I was looking at that carpets phrase when I was, like 11 years old, and I was like, oh, you know what you could do? You could turn that into a tag, and it was like, it'd be a good way to launch a tag, like, or like to make your tag big and famous or whatever. So I was thinking, oh, you just think of a 4-letter word like most tags, and then you just cut everything out and make it that tag. But yeah, that's like, it was 8 years later that I actually did it. But the idea was always at the back of the mind, and it was just one day when that shit went down with that lass, I was like, wait there, it could say I love you, and it could save my relationship. I'm doing it, and just did it.
Yeah, I think I may have got this the wrong way around, but you said you maybe insinuated that I love you on the roof put a smile on everyone's face, and it brought a lot of attention to Newcastle, and that's why you kind of abandoned it. Have I got that wrong? Have I read that wrong?
No, the abandonment of keeping up the tag consistent in the northeast was either to do with travelling, because like I said, I was working in other countries, and it was a bit like, look, if I keep on bombing and I get caught, I can't get these visas. So I was doing stuff more discreetly, doing stuff like you had a much bigger chance to get away with. So instead of like constantly bombing, I did a few more smaller stunts that I knew, I had a get in, get out escape plan, I'd spent loads of years out of town. Like, I haven't lived here my whole life, so I didn't abandon it for the attention. No, I thought the attention was everyone loves attention, man. I thought the attention was great, and I really enjoyed like the effect it had on people. Like I said, like making people smile. So I did want to continue that. What I did for a long time is stickers instead of tagging, because it's like when pre-visas. So like again, like before I got these visas, without wanting to like mess up an entire life plan, I was just doing loads of stickers. So there was a bunch more I love you stickers for a few years when I was in Newcastle without doing big stunts and that. I'm back again, I'm tagging again, but I haven't actually got the money for paint. If I get some money together, I'll start doing more pieces and that, but like, yeah, it's just marker pen tags at the minute.
Right, cool. I mean, that brings us nicely on to the next question. Are you aware of other people doing the I love you in writing the love heart? Are you aware of there may be copycats? Because I've seen, there was a few years ago where I happened to see like a lot of love hearts around, and I just got a suspicion that it wasn't from you, kind of thing. And then I've also seen like other things wrote on the Byker Bridge viaduct with insinuating what's going on with the football Newcastle, and I've also got another feeling that's not you as well. But are you aware of this, are you aware of other people writing I love you and doing the love heart?
Yeah, there's a few answers to that. So I went and lied to the news interview when I was painting a gallery in Newsburn, and the news came down to interview us, and I lied to them saying it was a massive collective of us. There was 30 of us up on the roof, and part of that was just not to give them their crackhead addiction to like the romantic story. Like, they were so desperate for this story, so I was like, and I wanted to lie to them and not give them the true story, because they're not getting my true story for free. Not a media corporation. I mean, you can, mate, but not like the Chinese. Fuck the media. So I did lie to them and say it was a group of people, but it wasn't just to lie. It's also because I thought I could launch something off the back of it. And so I did an anagram of Byker Moore and changed it to Kirby Moore. Sorry, Byker Romeo and changed it to Kirby Moore, and was going to try and launch an arts collective called Kirby Moore, but I only had one or two friends interested. Hister was into it, so Hister was painting that gallery with us when they did the interview. And we were going to launch this arts collective, but like loads of things, it kind of just got dead in the water. Kirby Moore didn't stick. I didn't sell any Kirby Moore art at that gallery, and it just ended up being Byker Romeo again. So that's what people know, you know what I mean? So there's a few people involved past the initial stunt. So like Spiller's Wharf, I painted with a buddy. The Blue Heart on top of Clooney, I painted with a buddy. Hister actually videoed us doing that. So there is a video somewhere of us painting that heart, but like it's either on an old tape or a hard drive. It might be long gone and forgotten. So there is a couple of other people like involved, and there's Venk was in, I think maybe WK, really old crew. Not he used to put up I love you next to his tag, and like he was like allowed to do that, you know. I think he asked, or he knew I didn't care, like he's a good friend. So there was some people like putting up I love you as like just putting it up because they agreed with it. They agreed with the whole it makes people smile thing. So there's been a handful of people involved, and there's also been a whole bunch of people writing it that I've got no idea who they are and stuff. Like, so like I love you Shazza or whatever, Sharon on the Byker Bridge, nothing to do with me. That was some chava. Hopefully I inspired him, because a lot of these big things, a lot of these love things did happen like in the years following. So it's quite cool to think these people went up and did I inspired them, but that might be my ego talking. They might not even seen the news story and did it themselves. But either way, it's cool. It's just good to see love. Like I said, these are wasted grey spaces. They want our cities to be grey as fuck, boring as fuck, and then adverts so we buy shit and feel depressed because we're not pretty. And it's nice, really nice to replace that with colour or love messages or anything, like whatever you are. Even if you're just bombing whatever, I think it's better than just a grey space. So yeah, I mean, what else was there? There was the football stuff, mate. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Could you tell us more about that? 'Cause it wasn't me.
I didn't want to be the same as everybody else. I wanted it to be a little bit different, a little bit individual.
DJ A D S.
Yeah. Upset. I mean, it was a few years ago, and I think it was like Ashley Cole. I don't know a lot about football, but maybe there was a manager there who was going to leave, and then there was spray painted like stay in the club, and some form of can the manager stay at Newcastle. So it was all NUFC themed, and then that kind of gave the game away for me because I knew that wasn't you. I mean, I was presuming because obviously it's the first time we've met, but I just had a feeling that wasn't you and that wasn't your vibe, you know?
No, I'm not massive into football, mate. Like, if it was local lads playing against other local teams on like a half-decent wage, it'd be really fun, but it's a bunch of people not from our city, from random cities, random countries. Like, it's not a local thing, it's just a big money sport. I don't really enjoy it, man.
Just also want to say thanks for coming down here and chatting to Peep, you know, because I've heard a lot of people who I've interviewed say fuck the media, fuck them and fuck the media, but they're quite happy to give me an interview, so I feel privileged that you've come down. We're sitting here face to face and having a chat, you know.
No, it's a pleasure, mate, and like there's a difference between mass media and indie media, and we need local arts media, we need these independent things, and small is good, big stuff's bad, and yeah, so fuck the mainstream media. Fuck the money men, but like you're doing this passion project, you know, and it's local arts, it's important, man.
Thanks, man, appreciate it. Do you take any inspiration from either local artists or artists in the media world around the world or popular culture?
Yeah, man, I tell you, well, I've got a lot of aspirations to do more and better graffiti, so I definitely take a lot of inspiration from anyone that's absolutely smashed the city. So like the list is different over the years, but I mean, Inch Kezo when I was a kid, Figs as like a young adult who was smashing it loads. I really like Raj's style back then, like, so style as well, because again, like, I haven't got all the graffiti, so I haven't earned all my graffiti stripes, you know what I mean? So I definitely take inspiration from the things I aspire to be, because I'm not great at pieces, I've only done a handful of them, and like, so I take inspiration from styles that I really want to aspire to. Back over the years in Newcastle, my favourite styles are probably funk, Raj, really like dread stuff at the minute, really clean, like that clean style. I don't think I could ever be that clean. I think I'm going to have to stick to a slightly more messy. So yeah, there's plenty of local writers I love. Internationally, there's tons of writers too I love. And popular culture, I wouldn't say I take too much inspiration from anyone in popular culture, because normally like the people I like, they don't get into that mainstream pop world, but they're more like underground rappers like Loki or Akala, really weird niche rappers like Space Ape on the dubstep and that. But yeah, don't really follow much of popular culture at all. Like, I don't really have a TV. I sometimes watch like some of the mainstream TV shows and that, but not really, like Game of Thrones and that, but not really into popular culture at all. The underground's where it's at, bro.
Just like to also give a big shout out to Gillyman, Gyro and Rick Fury with Rap Time. I just thought I want to interject that there, because they've done a few shows in Newcastle, open mic, hip hop nights on the Byker Bridge, and I think a lot more people should get down and get involved because they're doing something great for the Northeast.
Life would be simple in the forest except for
DJ A.D.
When you were doing all this, I Love You, the Love Hearts, were you looking for some kind of artistic acceptance or some kind of acknowledgement within the Northeast?
No, I never really cared what people think about us, man. It was literally just one, maybe two reasons I do it. Bombing is fun, and so that's the first reason. And then the second reason is because it makes people smile. That's the reason the tag is still I love you and not just some random 4-letter word, because I've seen like kids take like try and get their parents to take a photo next to it. I've seen girls like take photos next to the tags, and that is cute, man. I've been walking down the street and seen people like smiling, taking a photo next to it, and it's like, yeah, they're probably sending that to their boyfriend, like, oh, I love you, and it's like, it's a positive thing. So the first reason is fun, second reason positivity.
In branding terms, is the work more about the positioning than the actual art itself?
I mean, I do like to seek a nice little frame, like, I've a little spot, but like I said, it's mostly just been drippy marker pen tags recently, so it's just wherever it'll fit, wherever it's a flat surface, they won't destroy the nib. The actual, yeah, so it is about the actual, what it, not where it is, but what it is, yeah. I would say positioning isn't so important with tags, they just put them where they fit.
Yeah, man. I mean, the I love you on the Dallas carpet, I mean, that was great positioning, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So they obviously, the first three major stunts, Dallas carpet, Clooney roof, and Spiller's Wharf. Obviously, they were about the positioning was really important. But yeah, nowadays with just the tags, just put them anywhere. But I do keep my eye out for like other rooftop spots. Like I've got some ideas, man. I just need to get some paint together and that.
In your opinion, is graffiti outside the cultural mainstream, or has it become the cultural mainstream?
There's not always one answer to a question. It's both, mate. Like you'll see in McDonald's, they've got these really weird printed walls with graffiti on them, and then say you were to tag that wall or tag the toilet, they'd wash it off. So it's this really annoying, pretentious cultural appropriation thing where they're taking like the selling point of a culture without actually adopting the culture at all. Like if McDonald's actually like graffiti, it would be free reign in their fucking toilets to cover it in tags, but they're going to wash that off and they're going to ring the police. Meanwhile, they've covered their walls in fucking fake graffiti, man. It's pathetic and pretentious. So it's both. It's like the cultural mainstream will always take things out of the underground to look cool or sell shit, but they'll never actually get it. So, you know, graffiti's still underground and it always will be until like the entire fucking system changes. And then if graffiti was completely legal and accepted, it'd be like really interesting to see where it ended up. A lot of people would quit because what they like is the criminality aspect, the criminal damage aspect, and not just the art. But they also might not have the desire to smash the system if they liked the system. So yeah, like we're talking about this like fucking hypothetical utopia where graffiti is allowed, there'll be less people wanting to smash the system up because they're living comfortably and they're not fucking frustrated in poverty or whatever and looking for kicks that say fuck you to the place that put them there.
You rotten little bloodsuckers.
It's been said that any subculture that exists in spite of capitalism is inherently irresistible to capitalism. Would you agree with this?
Yeah, that's interesting. But this kind of leads off from what I said, is that like the mainstream will always look to the underground for selling points, things to sell, but they'll never fucking get it. And capitalism is just a big fucking like parasitical leech, so anything it can get its hands on that can potentially make money or be a selling point or whatever, man. I don't know if any of you just remember Bill Hicks. He's before a lot of people's time, but he's a dead comedian that had this really good skit on advertising, and he was just like, yeah, if anyone here in the audience is in advertising, kill yourself. And he goes on this rant about just how fucking bad marketing is. And it's fucking terrible. It's all about brainwashing people, taking these, like, stealing cultures to sell, all this sort of bullshit. And to sell shit that people don't even fucking need, man. That's the main thing. Yeah, so capitalism is a fucking parasite. So not only subculture, but every culture. Capitalism will try and fucking sell everything. It's disgusting.
If someone was artistically inclined and decided to go over your work, your piece, your dub, your throw, whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it, whatever you do, what would happen?
But no, I don't take shit personally, man. Like, shit like that says more about the person doing it, and you can let it say about you what you want, whether you're going to be a sensitive little bitch and cry and try and start a war, or if you're just going to fucking move on and do another tag. Like, and it's funny because a lot of people that do act tough and like, oh, you did this, like acting tough, but what's actually happening is you're being a sensitive little child. And it's like, you're actually not acting tough, you're acting like a fucking kid. Just do another one, move on. But other times, you know, there can be really important things, like, actually, so here's a good fucking example, right? Someone went over the I love you with a massive cock. And then it finally got buffed, right? because obviously they didn't want a big fucking cock on the roof. I thought that was fucking hilarious. I wanted to shake the kid's hand. I finally found out who it was, and he's not with us anymore. I never got a chance to shake his hand for that, but you know, that shit's funny. Like, and it's like, why so fucking attached? Like, all art's impermanent. Everything's impermanent. You do this fucking piece, it's going to be gone one day. But like, if you've gone down to a Wharf and done 70 quid's worth of paint on like this nice little spot, and you go back there next time, you go back there within days and it's gone, it's going to make you sad that fucking that money's gone. But another 6 months it would have been gone anyway. So like, maybe just practice non-attachment if you take that shit personally. Do another one, move on, steal your paint, fucking get more money, get over it.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. In your opinion, do most graffiti writers have narcissistic tendencies?
Yeah, but just draw a massive line between narcissistic personality disorder and narcissistic tendencies, because I've cut people out of my life for having NPD, and they're a fucking psycho. But narcissistic tendencies is like, you know, loving yourself, being obsessed with yourself, wanting yourself to be famous, etc. And yeah, I think most graffiti writers do definitely agree with that. Like, you know, that's kind of, it's all about them, their tag. Like the majority of graffiti writers is them and their tag. It's about them and trying to make themselves famous or whatever. And there's actually, you know, a small proportion of different style graffiti artists like myself, or there's Notes to Strangers. Do you know that? Notes to Strangers is a really good account. You'll just like write a really nice message on a small poster and we paste it up or whatever. And I don't know, here's one example from the past day. It was something like, it was something about giving up. So it was like, remember that last time you really wanted to give up? And think of all the opportunities you've missed if you actually did, like, sort of thing. So it's just like little positive messages like that you'll paste up. And that's like a completely different style of graffiti. And he does it for the people and for the positive message, but we're all human, we all have egos, we all have a narcissist inside us somewhere, and I would agree that even myself or this weird Notes to Strangers guy have somewhat of a narcissistic tendency too. Everyone loves the fucking attention. Like, you wouldn't be you're doing it for the people, but then no one reading it, so you're going to get a kick when people read it. So yeah, even the niche graffiti artists that don't just have a tag and do messages or political stuff, it's still slightly narcissistic. Of course, to an extent.
Switches on to another little conversation I had with Inch, and he explains that if we were both writers and then I was doing work, he actually said, I want my work to be better than yours. I want people to look at my work, not your work. Would you agree with that?
Not with the writing, no, I don't really care, man. I want everyone to just keep smashing the system and whatever, man. Like, I think it's great. I'm not out doing graffiti to get more attention than the next man, but, you know, I respect that drive, and say if that's what Inch thinks, that's probably part of the reason he's got so tight. You know, he's one of the cleanest styles in the Northeast. Like, his recent stuff is just like fucking crisp as shit, and you don't get that crisp without practice and drive, and if that's what drives him, that's a good thing. And it's how you become a good musician or rapper or whatever. You're not going to become a good rapper by thinking you're okay and the best. You've got to think you're not good enough, you can get better, and that you've got to be better than everyone else. Like, that's what drives people to success, is to want to be the best. So I get that. Just it doesn't really drive me, the graffiti stuff, that much. I respect it.
Yeah, cool, man. It kind of spins off again, because within photography and media, you always seen, well, my experience, I've always seen people pick up a camera, they want to take good shots, and then it depends what their style is, maybe portrait, documentary, still life, it doesn't matter what it is, sport. You tend to find that they've been photographing for maybe half a year, and all of a sudden they think they're the best photographer in the Northeast. They think they're the best at this, they think they're the best at that. And I just think it's really unfortunate, because there is no best. In my opinion, there is no best. There is good photographers and there's mediocre ones. And I think it's the same with graffiti or writing. There's very good ones, there's not so good ones, but there is no, in my opinion, the best one. It's like the analogy of there's always someone bigger. There's always someone tougher. There's always someone who works a bit harder than you. You just haven't met that person yet. But would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, there is always someone bigger and better and tougher than you somewhere, but the drive to overcome them can be a good drive, is what I'm saying. So, like, I respect, like, I respect getting stuff done. Like, to put it simply, I respect people that get stuff done. And if wanting to be the very best or wanting to have more attention than someone else is going to be that drive, I wouldn't take that away from them.
What are the risk rewards for you personally?
Well, like 5-10 years ago, the risk was not getting these visas that I really wanted. Like, had I got caught and actually prosecuted, I wouldn't have got these visas. So that was a big risk. Being arrested now, I mean, like, doesn't faze me too much if I did actually get nicked doing stuff these days, but obviously it's better not to, so you can, for the longevity. And the rewards, like, while you're doing it, it's a fucking frisk. It's fun, and that's like the short-term kick. And the long-term kick for me is people, like I said, back to the smiling thing, like, I love you is a positive message and it makes people smile. Like, I don't know if I had an actual tag, if I'd be motivated. If I just had like a 4-letter tag that was just like some random thing, random word, just collection of letters that I like, I personally don't have any motivation to go do that. Like, I think it's cool filling these empty spaces with a positive message.
ADS on the beat.
Was hip-hop music a major influence in your writing?
Yeah, it's connected, of course. Hip-hop and graffiti are pretty much the same roots. I mean, my first 2 albums, 2 CDs I owned were Dr. Dre 2001 and Slim Shady Marshall Mathers LP. I used to listen to those loads, it's like from the age of about 10, 11, which is when I got into graffiti. At that point, I wasn't linking them together. I wasn't linking Dr. Dre to the shitty little tags I was doing in play parks. As I got a bit older, you know, and watched the film Scratch, it was like, oh, this is all part of the same thing. You should be doing. I even started breakdancing lessons. I was like, you should know the 5 pillars, innit? I never got very good at breakdancing, but I was trying anyway.
The brain would be programmed in a positive way, so that the individual would be completely altered.
Every artist has to move on, evolve, grow. What's next for the Byker Romeo?
Outside of graffiti, I'm working on a whole bunch of different projects and also new avenues, but that's separate. And within graffiti, and I just need some money and paint. I want to start doing more pieces, rooftops, and not just doing these little marker pen tags and that. And maybe like collaborations and more with other people instead of just going bombing by myself. Yeah, I've got friends. I've got friends that bomb. I just need to just get in touch with them. What for me, it's just I'm just bored one night. I'll just go out on my bike or whatever with a pen until the ink runs out, then come home. But what's next is more graffiti and earning more graffiti stripes and like bombing around the city more and actually being able to do pieces in public spots and getting those stripes before I get too old.
Yeah, man, cool. Thanks. Have you got anything that you'd like to say that I've maybe missed? Anything you want to shout out and anyone that someone listening might be interested in?
I've got something to say to the younger graffiti writers that have picked up a pen for the first time and opened up their Instagram account is calm the fuck down. Like, maybe spend more time in a sketchbook before you start making 100 posts on the internet, and maybe actually take some fucking time to get a little bit more style and skill before you start putting yourself out there so much, because you're only going to regret it. You're going to look back on that shit in 3-4 years when you've got a bit more stuff, and you're going to want it all gone, deleted, wiped from the web. You're going to find looking at your tags on the street embarrassing. So just take your fucking time and don't get ahead of yourself. Know your place.
Is famous in the street. All over backpack with spray paint and markers.
Yeah, man, that's wise words from the Byker Romeo. And I know a lot of graffiti writers and artists, you know, they all say fuck the media and...
No, you deserve it, mate. You're putting in good effort. And like you give a shout out to Gilly and Rick before, like yourself, Gilly, Rick. These are the sorts of people that actually make a scene happen and stay alive. Like, what's the word? Fucking... Some people can be really self-entitled with culture, if that makes sense. So they just expect culture to be there for them to just bleed from and enjoy. But like, you have to feed culture. It's not like BBC. It's not going to just be there. Like, you have to make your local scenes. You can't complain that nothing's happening in your city without trying to make things happen. You can't complain there's no hip-hop scene without, like, doing what Gilly and Rick do. So there's people that talk and people that do. And like I said earlier on, I've got a lot of respect for anyone that gets stuff done. And that's a really general phrase, but, like, you know, going to work and then putting the TV on at the night is not going to get you fucking anywhere. Like, we all get a lot more pleasure out of actual culture and human interaction, and we can feed that. And, you know, local arts media is a different thing from the mass media, mate, so you're doing a good job. And hopefully more people will see what you've been doing and come get more interviews. Keep it going.
Some, it's art.
That's it, bro, I think.
To most people, however, it is a play that never ends. A symbol that we've lost control.
So yo, grab a can and put your man up and stand up. I tags up quick. Tagging this shit on the walls and I was bragging. I